Hello and welcome to the big review. This is lesson 40. So in this lesson, we are going to review from lesson 21 to lesson 39. Now it is just a review. So obviously we will do things in not in great detail, but remember that you can always go back and look at the lessons that you're not sure about again. Okay, so don't worry, be happy, imperative. All right, so let's have a look at just some of the things we're going to do in the review class today. So we're going to first start with a little vocabulary exercise. Then we'll look at comparative and superlative forms in context. We will look at passive voice, quantities, percentages, and approximations, verb patterns and imperative, and present perfect and used to. Okay? Now, in this lesson, we will be doing some dictation as well, so you will need a notebook and a pen or a pencil so that you can do the dictation, okay? So let's have a look now. Right, now I'm going to put here on the screen for you some vocabulary. So I just want you to look at the words and see if you can decide what categories you would put these words in. What different categories? Okay, so for example, maybe some vocabulary, maybe some are grammar words. Okay, so just have a look and see if you can decide the categories. Okay, you can put the video on pause whilst you're doing this, but I will leave it on for a few seconds before I tell you the answers. Okay, here you go. So you can see lots of different words here. Okay, now I am going to show you the different categories. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the different categories. If you're not ready, then please pause the video here. Okay, and there we are. You can see them here. Right, so the ones in white are past participles. We've got travelled, it's a regular verb, the past participle. Seen, past participle of see. Had, past participle of have. Made, past participle of make. Born, past participle, interesting, of a verb bear, as in to give birth to a child. Bought, past participle of buy. Then the ones in red are related to illnesses. So for example, a migraine, flu, blocked nose, backache. Remember the pronunciation, backache, headache, toothache, sore throat. Okay, and then we've got a broken leg as well. Notice we use the past participle there as well as an adjective. And then the ones in black are things that you use when you have some kind of illness. So you've got painkiller, for example, paracetamol or ibuprofen. Syrup is usually a liquid medication, and then general word, medicine. And then in purple, do you recognise the words in purple? what kind of text would you see those words in? What kind of text? Yes, exactly, in an email. And I have an example email for you here to look at. Okay. So you've got, Dear Mr. Smith, thank you for your email. Please can you send me a scanned copy of your passport or ID? ID is identification. You can come into the office next week to sign the contract. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. It's a standard phrase. Kind regards, Ben Harding. Okay, very good. So well done. Now we're going to continue. Now, what we're going to do in this section is, let me put you'll see here, listen to the process. I'm going to explain a process now, and you have to try and guess what process I am explaining. Okay? So let's go. Are you ready? Right. Now, first, you need a bowl, and first you put some flour into a bowl, about 500 grams of flour. Then you add some yeast and a small glass of warm water. Yeast is a special ingredient that helps things to rise. Okay, then mix the water and the yeast into the flour with your hands. Then add some olive oil and some salt. And then leave it in the bowl in a warm place to rise. Okay? And then put it in a tin and put it in the oven. Okay? All right. So, wait a moment. So, what process was I describing? I'll give you some choices, okay? So, was I explaining, did I explain how to make pizza, how to make a cake, how to make basic bread, or how to make pancakes? Which one? Do you know? Yes, it was how to make a very basic bread. And in fact, I did actually make some of this bread earlier. Look, here it is. I'm going to try it. It's quite nice. That's quite nice. And very easy to make. Okay. Now, now I'm going to show you the text of what I said. Okay, so we've got listen to the process and guess what I'm explaining. So first, put some flour into a bowl or in a bowl, about 500 grams. Add some yeast and a small glass of warm water. Mix into the flour with your hands. Add some olive oil and some salt. Leave it in a warm place to rise. And put it in a tin and put it into the oven. I put this bread into the oven, I think for 15 minutes, 15-20 minutes. It was like flat bread. Not a fantastic bread, but okay. I mean, I'm not a great baker, as you know. Okay. So well done if you understood that. Right now, next thing, we have a lot to do. I'm going to just do a quick review of talking about statistics. So we did this in lesson 25, I think, a similar review. Okay, so let's see how much you remember. All right, so here I've got the percentage, and then above I've got the fractions. So for example, 50% is half. Okay, so let me see. So I've got 27%, 45%, 72%, 78%, and 98%. Now, let's have a look at the fractions. Less than half. Less than half. Now, which fraction is the nearest, do you think? Yes, 45%. Less than a half, or less than half, is 45%. Just over a fifth. Notice we say fifth, not fifth, because it's very difficult to say fifth. So we quite often say fifth. So just over a fifth would be, very good, 27%. Okay. Just under 100%. Just under 100%. Yes, that would be 98%. Very good. Then we've got nearly 80%. Nearly 80%. That is, yes, 78%. And the last one, almost 3/4. Almost 3/4. I would say 72%. Okay. Oh, let me just go. Can you see almost 3/4? Sorry, I didn't realize I was blocking the words there. Okay, all right, so now we're going to move on. Remember, of course, you can always go at the end. Basically, at the end of this video, I will tell you which lessons correspond to which the things we're reviewing, so that if you want to go back, you can just look quickly and find that lesson again. Okay? All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the passive voice. So, for example, here's an example. For example, you see this beautiful quiz? Do you see this? Right? I have had this for about 25 or 26 years. I've had this, look. It's very beautiful. And it's from India. My friend is from India, and, well, his family are from India. And he, many years ago, he brought this back from India for me as a present. And so this was made in India. Passive voice. This was made in India. So you remember, you've got the present verb, you've got the verb to be, in this case in past, and the past participle. Okay, so let's see if you can do this little activity here. Right, so we're going to change these sentences to passive. So the surgeon operated on the patient. The surgeon is a doctor who cuts people. And in passive, remember, the patient comes to the front. So the answer would be, the patient was operated on by the surgeon. The doctor sees the patients on Tuesdays. Okay, ready for the answer? Patients are seen by the doctor on Tuesdays. And the last practice, Charles Dickens wrote this book. Here I've given you a clue. I put the past participle just in case you don't remember. Okay, this book was written by Charles Dickens. So very good. So do you remember the passive? Do you remember? And we use it a lot in quite formal texts, and you will see it used a lot in, for example, in newspapers and in formal language. Okay, all right, very good. Now moving on. Now we're going to do a dictation. So in this section of the lesson, you need a paper and a pen. Okay, so are you ready for the first sentence? I'm going to say the sentence 3 times and natural speed, but of course, if you want, you can pause the video, you can listen again, no problem. Okay, so the first one is, my sister is taller than me. My sister is taller than me. My sister is taller than me. Number 2, my brother-in-law is younger than my sister. My brother-in-law is younger than my sister. My brother-in-law is younger than my sister. Okay, number 3, I can sing. Oh, I can't. Oh dear, I'm sorry. There's a mistake on the PowerPoint I've just seen. Okay, right. So number 3 is, I can't understand Italian. I can't understand Italian. But my brother is worse than me. He can't understand anything. I can't understand Italian, but my brother is worse than me. He can't understand anything. Okay, and sentence number 4. She is better at speaking English than me. She is better at speaking English than me. Okay. Okay. Right. I'm going to say them all one more time so you can just check. All right. Hang on one moment. Sorry. Just a second. I'm just going to see because there's a mistake in my slide. Just want to see if I can change it. Can I change it? Yes, I can. Okay, fantastic. Right. Okay, are you ready then? Here we go. So we've got the first sentence is, my sister is taller than me. My sister is taller than me. My brother-in-law is younger than my sister. My brother-in-law is younger than my sister. I can't understand Italian. But my brother is worse than me. He can't understand anything. She is better at speaking English than me. She is better at speaking English than me. And the last one, which I don't think I said actually, is Madrid is more expensive than Lisbon. Madrid is more expensive than Lisbon. Now, I want to talk a little bit about number 4. Now, number 4, we've got she is better at speaking. Why? Why speaking? Do you remember? Yes, it's because the verb is after a preposition. So we have the ing form. Okay? Very good. Now, I also want to highlight here some grammar. Okay, so you can see taller, younger, worse, better, more expensive. What are these verb forms? Yes, exactly. They are comparative. So we've got tall, taller, young, younger, and then bad, worse, irregular, good, better, irregular, and expensive, more expensive. Okay, do you remember? Now, if I just want to remind you about the irregular adjectives. So you've got good, better, and the best. Or bad, worse, the worst. Okay. All right, very good. Now, so we looked at the comparative, and now do you remember superlative? So for this section, I'm going to put some sentences here with a gap, and you have to write the superlative form of the adjective in brackets, okay? Here we are. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. I think that's it. Okay, remember that you can pause the video at any time. If you want to, that's fine. Okay? Right, now I'm going to put the answers onto the screen. So if you're not ready, pause the video. And here we have the answers. So you've got good, best, the most populated, the biggest, the highest, the fastest. Number 5, I don't know if that is true or not. You can investigate on the internet and find out, is number 5 true or is number 5 false? I don't know. Okay, so now in the next part of the lesson, again, we are going to do a dictation. And this time it's a dictation with lots of different verb forms. Okay, so maybe you'll have used to, maybe you'll have future, maybe you'll have past, maybe present perfect. Okay, so listen very carefully. Just relax and write down the sentences. They're short sentences this time, okay? So I think that's better. Okay, so number 1. I used to live in London. I used to live in London. I used to live in London. Number 2. I didn't used to eat octopus. I didn't used to eat octopus. I didn't used to eat octopus. Number 3. My brother's been to Milan. My brother's been to Milan. Milan in Italy. My brother's been to Milan. Number 4. I've never had a migraine. 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 My mother wants to go to Cairo. My mother wants to go to Cairo. My mother wants to go to Cairo. Right, number 6. You should take a painkiller and rest. You should take a painkiller. You should take a painkiller and rest. You should take a painkiller and rest. Right, number 7. On Wednesday, I'm flying to London. 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 Okay, and number 8, I have decided to eat more fruit. I have decided to eat more fruit. I have decided to eat more fruit. Right, okay. Right, I'll read them all one more time. Okay, so number 1, I used to live in London. Number 2, I didn't used to eat octopus. Number 3, my brother's been to Milan. Number 4, I've never had a migraine. Number 5, my mother wants to go to Cairo. Number 6, you should take a painkiller and rest. Number 7, on Wednesday, I'm flying to London. Number 8, I have decided to eat more fruit. Okay. And now, here we are. I'll put these on. This is the last task in the lesson. Okay, so let's have a look. 8 sentences. Sentence number 1, you can just correct them. Oh, sorry. Sentence number 1. I used to live in London. I didn't used to eat octopus. My brother's been to Milan. I've never had a migraine. My mother wants to go to Cairo. You should take a painkiller and rest. On Wednesday, I'm flying to London. I have decided to eat more fruit. Okay, so sentence 1 and 2 are used to for past habit. Sentence number 3 is present perfect for experience. Here in sentence number 3, the apostrophe S, what verb is it? Is it is or has? Yes, in sentence number 3, apostrophe S is has. My brother has been to Milan. My brother's been to Milan. Number 4 is present perfect. Number 5, you've got a verb pattern, want plus full infinitive. Wants to go, wants to see, wants to eat, wants to contact you. Number 6, should plus infinitive, no to, for advice. Should take a painkiller. You should study more. You should sleep more. You should do exercise. You shouldn't drink wine. You shouldn't eat cheese, for example. Okay. Number 7, here, interesting, we've got present continuous, but for a future planned action. So on Wednesday, so today is Sunday, on Wednesday, I'm flying to London. Okay, so it's present continuous used for a future plan. And number 8, I have decided to eat more fruit. I have decided to eat more fruit. So here you've got present perfect plus the infinitive after decide. I decided to go. I decided to eat. I decided to phone him. So you've got another verb pattern there. Okay, so well done. We did quite a lot in quite a short space of time. So now I'm just going to show you what we did in the lesson, okay? So here we go. In this class, we did vocabulary emails, for example, which you can find in lesson 28, illness in lesson 31. Comparative and superlative forms in context. You can look at these again in lesson 22 and 23. Passive voice from lesson 27. Quantities, percentages and approximations from lesson 29. Verb patterns and imperatives from lesson 26 and 36. Present perfect and used to. Present perfect was in lesson 32, 33, and then 34 it was a contrast between present perfect and past simple. And lesson 37 was the introduction of used to for past habits or changes in habits. Okay. Remember also in lesson 31, you have the use of should. You should and you shouldn't. Okay, I think that's all I have to say. Right, so quite a lot of information. I hope you enjoyed it. Well done. And I will see you in the next lesson, which is lesson number 41. Okay, so thank you for listening. Take care and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.